All right, so let us do the last part of the question. So the last part of the question is this one. So this question, looking at it, you can't know whether it's a circle, a parabola, hyperbola, or an ellipse. So what you do to describe this circle is to complete the square of each of these terms. You complete the square of x and also complete the square of y independently, but in the same what's this? The same procedure. All right, so the first thing that you need to do is to pair the like terms. So I'm going to put the x terms together and y terms together. So this is going to be x squared plus 6x and then plus y squared minus 2y. Then I'll take this 6, negative 6 to the other side, which will become positive 6. So I've started from the first because I want everyone to understand and to know what was happening. Okay, so after doing this, we can now find half of 6x and also half of negative 2. So half of 6x gives us what? Half of 6x is going to give us 3. So half of 6x will give us 3. And this is going to be like this. So we say plus 3, which is half of 6. This is going to be 3. Then we're going to square this. Then we subtract the same thing that we've written here and write plus 6x. So we say plus 6x. So when you look at what I've written here, this is just the same as writing x squared plus 6x because I have written 3 squared minus 3 squared, which will give you a 0 when you subtract them. You get a 0 and get back to this and that, which is just this part. Okay. So in other words, we have not done any, we have not changed anything in this equation. So I'll also do the same for y. So I'm going to have y squared there, and then we say the half of negative 2 here is going to be what? So I'll say plus half of negative 2 is negative 1, and I'll square this as well. And then I'll say minus the same thing which I've written here, which is negative 1 squared. Then I'll write minus 2y there. Then we say this is equal to what? 6. So after doing that, I can now complete the square of both x and y. So what that means is that I'm going to get x and what is in the brackets there, put them together. So I have positive 3 there. I'll put them in brackets and square them. After doing that, I'm also going to say, I'm going to square this 3 here. So I'm going to say minus 3 to the power 2 gives me 9. Then I'll quickly remove 6x. I'll just omit this. Yeah, because when I expand this, I'm going to have that. That's what it means. I'm not just omitting that. When I expand this part, I'm going to have this equation. I'm going to have 6x. In other words, it's like I've just put this 6x inside there. If you want, you can try to expand this. You understand what I'm talking about. You're going to have 6x somewhere. So this 6x has been indirectly put in this x minus 3 squared. Right. So after doing that, you can now do the same with the y part. So even with y, I'm going to put y and negative 1 in brackets and then square them. So I'm going to say plus y and negative 1 in brackets and then square. And then I'll write this minus there. And then negative 1 squared gives me positive 1. Then I'll also omit this negative 2y because it's in these brackets there. After expanding this, I'm going to have this negative 2y. So it has indirectly been put in the brackets there or in the expansion of this function here. Okay. So after doing that, I'll write, I'll say this is equal to 6. So this is the 6 which I have there. So say this is equal to 6. And then let us now simplify the expression. So simplifying this expression, I'm going to have x plus 3 there. Then I'm going to say this is squared. And then I'll write this part as well. So I'm going to say plus y minus 1 squared. Please unmute yourself. Oh, sorry, mute yourself, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so just mute yourself. We don't want to be hearing the background noise. Okay, so we have -9 there and -1. When we put them together, you're getting -10 there. Then we say this is equal to 6. So we just take this -10 to the other side of the equal sign. We're going to have x plus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared. When you take this to the other side of the equal sign, this will be 6 plus 10, that will be 16. So you have this as your equation. So when you look at this equation, isn't it in the format that we earlier discussed in the first slide, which is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared? Yeah, so if you check this, okay, so there's a person. Okay, before I answer your question, let me first finish what I was explaining. So if you check this equation, it's in the format of, if you check this equation we have found, it's in the format of this equation. And this tells us to say, this equation we have found here is the equation of a circle. Yeah, so we know to say what we are describing is a circle. Because in other, during the exams, they will not tell you that what you've been given here is a circle or an ellipse or a parabola or hyperbola. They'll just say, describe the following geometries. And then after going through this whole process here, you now need to identify if this is a circle, an ellipse, or any other geometry. So after doing this, you compare them to their general equations. So in this case, after doing this, we've discovered that this is a circle, meaning what we are going to describe is a circle. All right, so let me answer your question. There's a person who's asking to say, after adding -3 squared, 3 squared and -1 squared, are we not supposed to also add them on this other side of the equation? What you are saying is 100% correct. We're supposed to add them. So let me explain it in this way, because I know he or she is not the, let me just check if it's a female or male. All right, so he is not the only person who is asking this question. I believe there are also other people that are asking the same question. So okay, let me just do this. I will just write a simple equation here in terms of symbols. So we have A plus B is equal to C plus D. Let me use a small letter D. Yeah, so if I add K this side, if I say A plus B plus K, whatever that I do on the equation this side on the left is also supposed to be done on the other equation. So I'm going to say plus K. So now what happens if I take this K to the other side of the equal sign? I'm going to have something like this, A plus B plus K. This K, when it crosses the equal sign, it's going to become -K. And I'll still have the same thing on the other side of the equal sign, which is C plus D. So what I'm trying to explain is that what you were saying is what is in this equation. So when you add -3, or rather when you add 3 squared this side, you are also supposed to add 3 squared on the other side, which is, yeah, so you're also supposed to add 3 squared on the other side. But in my case, I never wanted to do it this way, but I decided to bring the 3 on the 3 squared to the other side of the equal sign. So I had, my equation is like this. I had something like this, A plus B, then plus 3 squared minus 3 squared. So this is how my equation was. So when you compare what I've just explained here, it's okay. In other words, whatever that you do, even your method, the one who's asking, will still work. Your method, what you have said, is going to 100% give you the correct solution. Yeah. He's saying he has understood. Okay. So what you're saying is also correct. But what you are saying will not work if you have f of x this side and you say f of x is equal to, let's say, x squared plus y squared plus 2x plus maybe 3y. This is not going to work if you have f of x this side. So your method only works if there's a 0 this side or there's a number this side. That's when you can apply your method. That's why I like using this one, because it's like general. It's general. It's applicable on both, whether you have a number or you have f of x on the left or on the right. Yeah, so that's it. So just at least learn to use this one as well. Okay. So let's just finish describing the circle. Okay, let me do this. All right, so after finding out that this is a circle, you have this. So the only thing that is remaining is to find the center, the radius, and drawing the circle or sketching the circle. So we have x plus 3 and y minus 1. Okay, so we have the equation which is x plus 3. Okay, let me just do this. Sorry for that. Okay, so the equation was x plus 3 squared and plus y minus 1 squared is equal to 16. So now we can describe the circle. So describing is simple. The first thing that we do, we find the center. How do you find the center? You equate what is in the brackets to 0. So you have x plus 3 is equal to 0. Y minus 1 is equal to 0. I don't know if that's a question or maybe. Okay, so that's what you have. Then from there, you can just take this 3 to the other side of the equal sign. You also take this 1 to -1 to the other side of the equal sign. So you have x is equal to -3 and y is equal to +1. The center is -3, 1. Mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Okay. So this is what we have as our center. After finding the center, we can now find the radius. So the radius, we said, you say r squared is equal to what you have this side, which is 16. So the radius is therefore going to be the square root of 16, which is 4. So after finding the radius, which is 4, we can now sketch. So we know that our center is -3, 1. So -3, 1. So we know that our circle will be somewhere on this side. So our center is there, x, y. So we locate our center, we have -3. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. I'll move 3 steps to the left and I'll move 1 step going up. So I'm going to say 1. That's so my center is going to be there. Okay. So I need to extend this a bit. Okay. So after doing that, I'll also, now I'm also supposed to locate the 4 points where the circle is going to pass. So the first point, I'm going to move 4 steps to the right. The second one, 4 steps to the left. And then the third one, 4 steps going up, then 4 steps going down. So I'm going to say 1, 2, I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first point is going to be somewhere there. So I have 1 there. And then the other point will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've not drawn this properly. Let me just draw it in the middle, at least somewhere where I'm able to sketch the circle properly. So I'll do this. We have 0 there. Then I'll say 1, 2, 3. So I have -3. Then you also have 1, 2, 3. So this is the x, this is the y. Then you have 1, 2, 3, -3, -2, -1. Have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it has to go up. Okay. Four, 5, 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So we also have 1, -4, -5, -6, -7. So also have -8 there. So we move 4 steps on all sides of the center. So the first thing, we locate the center, which is -3, 1. So our center is somewhere there. So now we move 4 steps going up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have the first step there. I mean, the first point somewhere there. And then the other point, we move 4 steps going this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have another point there. Then we have 4 steps going this other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have another point there. We have to move 4 steps going down as well. Have 1, 2, 3, 4. Another point there. So these are the 4 points where our circle is going to pass. Okay, so we have described our circle. You can even put your center there, which is -3, 1. Yeah, so I don't know if you people have questions, because after this, I'm going to give you an exercise to test you on the circles. Yeah, I just want to know if you have understood about this. And the exercise will be sent to the group. There's already a group where there are people who have already made the payments. Yeah, so those that are willing to join the group can make payments using the lines which I showed you in the first. Okay, let me just put them on the screen. So if you have a question, you can ask as I'm showing you the lines. So these are the lines that I'm talking about. These are the lines that you can use to send the money. I mean, once you send the money, it's just 100 kwacha for each course. Yeah, once you send the money, you should inform me so that I write your names down and also add you to the new groups. Okay, so if you have questions, make sure that I mean, if you have questions, you can ask right now before I end the meeting on what we have discussed. If you have any questions, you can ask right now. Do you have questions? Okay, so this week, like I said, all the lessons will be free. And starting from next week, only those that will be able to make payments will be accessing the lessons. So tomorrow we have chemistry. We're also going to start from the first topic, and we'll also first run through the syllabus and begin the lessons. And then and I think tomorrow and Thursday we have chemistry. Then on Friday we have physics. Saturday we also have physics. Then starting from next week, Monday and Tuesday again, we start mathematics. Yeah, but for the lesson that we missed yesterday, I'll make sure that at least we find time when we can meet for mathematics to make sure that we cover up the lesson that we missed. Yeah, so I don't want us to miss any lessons. All right, so if there are no questions, I think we can call it a day. I think this is, the end of today's lesson. So let's meet tomorrow for chemistry.